Hi again guys, and welcome to another circuit tune for one of the new 1.40 patch vehicles, this time the Chevy Camaro Z28, and as I said in my overview review of the 1.40 patch, this is the kind of car which is perfect because of its size and weight for being a lower level muscle car, around N200, N300, that kind of area. So as far as tuning goes, I've dropped the weight as far as it can go. Of course, that's down to you, and also down to if the lobby will allow it. As far as power, we've got it on 85%, as you can see, which is the peak of N200. And incidentally, although you'll probably see in the thumbnail that this is optimized for N200, you can definitely use it in higher classes. So you don't have to stick to this. You could take it up to N300 or higher if you want to. Now, as far as the traction control, I always recommend, of course, turning that off. It's down to personal preference, but you will find that you learn to be quicker without it. As far as the tyres, we've got sport softs, because more often than not, that's more realistic to what you'll have to use. Racing tyres make it a little bit too easy, and as I've said before, if you build a car to use racing tyres and then have to use sports tyres, it could become absolute trash. Whereas if you build it on sports tyres and make it good there, then racing tyres will just be even better. Now, as far as the suspension, you want to drop the ride height as far as it can go. That really lowers that centre of gravity, reduces body roll through corners as well, especially in conjunction with the springs and the dampers. Now, speaking of the springs, we've got the frequency on 2.1 for the front and the rear, the anti-roll on 8 and 7. Then for those dampers on the compression side, I've got 65, which is pretty high, 92 on the rebound, 1 degree of camber on the front with 1.5 degrees on the back. That's pretty much perfect for my handling style. Again, if you need to change that, of course, if you want it to be a little bit more loose, you could lower that. Vice versa, of course, if you want it to be even tighter through corners, you can increase that. Then as far as toe, that is neutral. Of course, the downforce is, you cannot adjust that. For the diff, I've opted for halfway on initial torque, and then the lowest settings on both acceleration and braking. Then as far as finally the transmission, again, this is for N200, so if you do tune it up higher, say N300 or N400, you'll definitely want longer gears, because this one is very specifically tuned for N200 in particular, where you don't have a huge amount of power to be working with. So you want the fully customized transmission. I would recommend an auto setting of 112 miles per hour. Then first gear is 2775, second gear is 0.997. I think I might have changed second, third and fourth just a little bit by the look of things. 1590 on third, 1250 for fourth, and then 950 for fifth. And basically the reason why I've done those is because it allows you to still maintain pretty good acceleration off the line, because it's very easy to sacrifice that with the racing gearbox, and also still a decent top speed. You could even increase that fifth ratio if you want to, just to accelerate in fifth gear a little bit quicker, but you will sacrifice a little bit of top speed. You're looking at about 120 to 130 miles per hour from this one, which isn't too surprising from a muscle car. And then finally for the final drive even, we've got 3.725, which of course you can change as well if you do increase the power, make it lower for some reason, or whatever you choose to do. So that's it for the setup. Now, of course, what you want to see is what can this do, in particular, in comparison to my other N200 tunes. Well, as it turns out, although it's certainly not the quickest of N200 cars out there, it's no slouch, and the only thing I think that lets this car down a little bit is the top-end acceleration. Low-end, it's decent, the handling is very good, the stability is very good, the brakes for a road car are very good, which of course is completely unrealistic because this thing has drum brakes and you can't even upgrade them, but there you go, that's Gran Turismo Sport for you. And as far as that top speed, it's not bad, it's just a little bit sluggish because you've got so much less power to work with. So of course, if you want to upgrade it to say N300, N400 or even higher, then you will find it, of course, a lot faster in a straight line, but at the same time, you'll be up against much, much headier competition. In terms of lap time, this one is quicker than both my Audi TT setup and my Subaru 22B Impreza setup, both of course in N200 as well, and it's not quite as quick as my Integra. So actually, for a classic muscle car, that's a pretty good place to be, right in there amongst the JDM, shows that it can be competitive. It's a pleasure to work with, it sounds great, of course it looks like nothing else at this kind of level, so if you do decide to use it, I hope you have a ton of fun with it, and for sure it's the kind of car that you can definitely push even further than I have. But that's it overall for this build. Of course you can click right here on screen to check out all of my other tunes, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.